The switch to Arrows came to many as a surprise, Damon citing Tom Walkinshaw's excellent new facilities as the deciding factor. By the time the car was ready for its first run, the daylight had gone.
He says he can see he knows his way around here with his eyes closed.
Walkinshaw was keen to show his new driver's vision.
Very difficult to get an impression because it was dark, but the car ran around the circuit fine, and we went through the gears and everything was perfect, and that's all they needed to do was to make sure that the car would run.
Practically a whole new team. The Arrows chassis now teamed with a Yamaha engine. And an exuberant Damon Hill hoping to give arch-rival Michael Schumacher a run for his money in 1997 with the help of new partner Pedro Diniz.
Well, I think we'll be doing very well if we get in the top three.
For Arrows, a year of exploration and discovery ahead. Much at Williams remains the same, Jacques Villeneuve being partnered by new Williams signing Heinz-Harald Frentzen. The new car, a logical development of last year's successful chassis, still with a Renault V10 engine that has brought the team so much success.
I hope I will be ready and know every screw at the car when the season starts.
For Frentzen, a new team. For Villeneuve, a new start as team number one.
Oh, in Barcelona, out of the box, it was great. The car was very quick, drivable, and the new weight distribution allowed us to be on the edge and to slide a little bit without it creating any problems.
Williams starts 1997 knowing it will be the last year with factory-supplied Renault engines, who will undoubtedly use their huge resources to go out with a success. Ferrari have unquestionably the best driver in Formula One at the moment in Michael Schumacher, and an increasingly strong management team. Their John Barnard designed car looks good even through the snow, but it's against the clock that will matter. As Ferrari have found in the past, testing is very different from racing. John Barnard's design team is strengthened by the arrival of ex-Benetton man Ross Brawn. Michael's 1997 teammate, Irishman Eddie Irvine, has shared in the new car's teething problems.
This year, I think, is going to be a good year. We're getting the car early, as you see, and I'm going to be doing a lot of testing, going into the first race with a chance.
It handles all right. We have some understeer which we have to solve. And we had an engine problem like yesterday, and even maybe today.
Ferrari's test program aimed at producing a car that is reliable and fast. Not always possible during the months leading up to the season's first race. Gerhard Berger remains at Benetton. Berger and test driver Alex Wirtz have the task of sorting out the new car. Winter testing showing the promise that the team need to return to their winning ways. Gerhard losing none of his speed and looking forward to a good year, the new car showing promise as well.
It's difficult to say how competitive we are. It seems that we are quite quick.
Berger's teammate for 1997 will again be Jean Alesi.
The new car is getting much better because we are doing a lot of miles now. We know our good and bad things.
McLaren hit the tracks with a new car and a stunning new colour scheme. A return to the racing silver of Mercedes-Benz. A huge star-studded launch introduced the driver lineup of David Coulthard and Mika Hakkinen, who was first to drive the car.
We've been testing quite a few days already, and the feeling is amazing. It's really good.
Testing had been conducted with the cars painted in the traditional McLaren orange of the late 1960s. The car and engine impressing both Hakkinen and Coulthard.
I think it feels pretty encouraging. The drivability of the engine, which was the only weak link in the Mercedes last year, feels better. So if we have that and the good top end, we're in good shape. And I think the balance of the car feels a little bit more forgiving. It's still early days, so we have to continue to develop, but I think so far so good.
The Jordan team tested with Nigel Mansell, 1992 world champion, who showed he'd lost none of his flair.
I'm frozen, I am, so I'm going to go and warm up a little bit.
Ralf Schumacher impressed Eddie Jordan, who teamed him with Italian Giancarlo Fisichella. Gary Anderson's latest design keeping the tradition of an effective car.
The new car is working like we hoped or like we expected it, which means that aerodynamically and mechanically we did quite a big step.
Development work was putting Jordan in a challenging position.
I think we have a quite competitive car to fight with the top 4 teams.
One doesn't expect to see a Grand Prix car in Casino Square, Monaco during the winter, although drivers such as Olivier Panis are a common sight all year round. Olivier was on hand to help unveil the new Ligier, along with new teammate Shinji Nakano. Panis then became the only driver to get some winter mileage on the street circuit, much to the surprise of the local population, not used to the sound of an F1 engine before spring. Testing proper showed promise despite the inevitable spins. The team looking to capitalise on last year's performance. Alain Prost finally concluded his negotiations to buy the team, the cars taking his name before the season starts. For Sauber, a year to take the next step and join the top flight, once they get their campaign started. Johnny Herbert's hopes are high for an improvement over last year. And new signing Nicola Larini will be keen to make an impression after a layoff from F1 racing. Grand Prix's off-season saga was the on-off deal for Sauber to use year-old Ferrari engines.
There's a big noticeable difference with the power. I think coming back here to Barcelona, there's driving the car and remembering what we had last year, there's a big difference. So we have I think a big improvement.
Tyrrell's hope of a title sponsor still remains just that. But a lack of funds never has stopped the team producing good cars, albeit underpowered by some quite elderly V8 engines. Never afraid to be different, the team always tread an individual path. Designer Harvey Postlethwaite coming up with a different approach to front-wing aerodynamics, which should allow Jos Verstappen to demonstrate his undoubted talents, although probably not at the very front of the grid. Verstappen's teammate will be Mika Salo, whose talent will also be hard-pressed to drag the Tyrrell into a position above midfield. Italian team Minardi are still looking to make the break from the rear of the grid, with new investment from Benetton boss Flavio Briatore. Ukyo Katayama joins from Tyrrell, while test driver will be Tasso Marquez. Although underpowered, Minardi have built a good car, which should allow new boy Jarno Trulli to prove himself in his step up to a Formula One car.
I know that it's a very quick step, but anyway, I show to everybody that I am able to drive Formula One. Now I must show only if I am able to fight with the best.
A new car, a new team, and a new tartan at the unveiling of the new Stewart Ford, bringing together Jan Magnussen and ex-F3000 driver Paul Stewart, and 3 times world champion Jackie Stewart.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Magnussen will be teamed with the young but experienced Rubens Barrichello. He's encouraged by the new car's performance, but not its failures.
Stop, Rubens, stop! Stop!
Better during testing than in racing. After years of building cars for other teams, Eric Broadley finally enters a fully-fledged Grand Prix team. Italian Vincenzo Sospiri is upbeat.
I think we will have some small problem, I hope as small as possible.
Ex-Arrows driver Ricardo Rosset partners him in the team. Goodyear's tyre monopoly hasn't affected their advances in tyre technology, but the arrival of competition in the shape of Japanese manufacturing giant Bridgestone will unquestionably see both companies striving to be number one in the paddock and on the track. Testing has been very encouraging, with some remarkable wet weather performance. Without doubt, tyres will play a major part during the season. Bridgestone with Arrows, Prost, Minardi, Stewart and Lola. The rest on Goodyear. A new circuit for 1997, the A1 Ring, home of the Austrian Grand Prix.